All right, I'd like to call to order this special meeting of the Bethel Board of Finance this Thursday, July 26th. Let us begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have just one item on the agenda for today. It has two parts to it. I'd like to take the first part and start by asking Terry to give us a general explanation of the process of the negotiations. Then we'll have the Board of Finance members ask any questions that they may have. I would just remind folks that we're supposed to have more of a general discussion today, not talk about any kind of factors that could be privileged and or confidential that could impact the negotiations. In those cases, when we do, again, not expected to be tonight, this board will have to go into executive session. So today's discussion is really more a general one of the process, any questions folks may have about the process. After that, we'll go to the second part of the agenda item, which is a nomination of an ex officio member of the negotiation team who would be a Board of Finance member.
Correct.
So just starting it, Terry, if you could give us an explanation of the process, please.
So every 3 years, we negotiate with the teachers. We negotiate a year ahead. It's binding arbitration. So, and the start date is driven by the date that in the town, the Board of Ed has to bring their budget to the Board of Finance. And we bring it before March 1st. So they use March 1st, which triggers us to start negotiations by August 3rd. There's a very strict timetable. If you don't finish bargaining in regular negotiations, you must move to mediation. And if you don't finish a mediation by the date listed in the letter, you have to move to arbitration. And this, we're doing it now, but the contract actually doesn't end until June of 2019, so we have done well ahead. It's helpful too because then we know what the new salaries are for teachers, so I can factor that in the budget that will go in place for 1920. So it's good that we negotiate early with the largest group of employees that we have. It is a time commitment. Mediation can go well into the evening, and mediation can go to 3 hours of the morning. And there are a bunch of meetings to try to do the regular negotiations of that particular one, usually in the afternoon and into the evening for mediation. That would be
Is that per week, Terry? Or?
You meet, well, they try to meet when it works for the attorney and their rep from the union, and all the members can meet, but we usually meet at least 4 or 5 times before we go to mediation, and sometimes we can even break into a subgroup, like if we want a few people to focus on just, say, stipends for coaches and advisors. Sometimes that could take hours and hours just to, if you want to work on that area, and both sides agree to work on that area, so that can entail a subgroup might get together to do that.
And do those meetings run during the workday, after the workday, weekdays, weekends?
They usually run starting at around 4 o'clock, because they start usually when the last school might get out and teachers who are on the negotiating committee are available to begin to commence negotiations.
So do you guys tentatively, like each side probably presents what they want, then you'll come up with TAs on the things that you can agree to?
Correct.
And anything that you can't agree to, you'll try and seek mediation, and if that doesn't work, you go to binding arbitration.
Correct. on just those renewals.
Yeah, just on whatever you haven't tentatively agreed on.
Because any of the language most of the language can be subject to negotiation as well as
But what would you say on average, like, how many items would they bring forth in a typical contract? Is it normally like 8, 9 items that they want to discuss, or is it even
There
more
will be
than that?
more.
So they'll, like, just load it up and see what you're willing to
There
do?
will be more.
Yeah.
But you know, you look at the contract, there's a lot of pieces to it.
And the mediator is one of the 3 arbitrators from the state that'll hear the case.
The
they try-
mediator has to be between both parties.
Right. And will they be part of
And
arbitration? then?
currently, there is only one state mediator available in the entire state.
What's his name?
I think it's Captain, I think.
Also, there used to be a nice Spanish guy that did he retire?
Must have.
Yeah. Last time we went through it, he was nice guy, fair guy.
So that's the basic process. Our attorney, we do a lot of the legwork, but really our attorney does most of the discussions. A lot of stuff that goes into what else is going on in the state, or other settlements that landed. What do you went through it with us? That's about it.
Okay,
But I
thank you.
would just say, whoever you do choose, you know, if your plan is to have everyone read this and give some input to whoever your member is that's going to be coming to the office with us, that part you would need to do in the executive session, because that would be negotiation strategy.
Okay.
And your member doesn't vote, but your member is part of all the caucuses and all the discussions.
So a voice among many voices. Okay. Maybe
I'd
starting,
like to nominate Brian Trojan.
well, hold on, we're going to go down the path to discuss.
Do we have to do something? Discuss something? Okay.
Robert, any questions or
questions?
further thoughts for
Good,
Terry?
thanks.
All right, Cynthia?
No, I'm good.
Brian?
Oh.
Claudia?
I'm okay.
You know, I just had one comment, Terry, and I'm confident that you are already aware of this, but just to kind of get it on the record, right? Fortunately, Bethel is a town that is in very strong financial position, but, you know, as evidenced by virtue of our, you know, AAA rating. That said, in the next 3 fiscal years, we're going to be facing some budget realities that will minimize our flexibility.
Correct.
Right, we've got short-term debt that we need to continue to pay down. We had a long list of long-term capital items, 14.4 million bonding on the police station, and then the Johnson and Rockwell School renovations. So the usual flexibility is going to be somewhat reduced. We would just ask you to have folks keep that in mind when negotiating, and to the extent possible, try to create as much flexibility as possible.
That should be part of the planning.
Right. And that's all. All right. So then moving on, Cynthia kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but
Well, I just got overexcited. I'd like to nominate Brian Terzian for this official officio.
okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
And I'd like to nominate Claudia to step down.
All right. I'll second that one. So discussion?
I think that I nominated Brian just because I think he has a lot of experience in his own world negotiating with unions. And he knows a lot of the ins and outs of the territory. So, I mean, with due respect, I don't know what Claudia, what you've done, but, you know, Brian's been doing that for years, and I just think he would be a really solid choice.
And I nominate Claudia based on her prior experience. She knows the time commitment and she knows the role, so I think she'd be an excellent candidate.
Okay. Brian or Claudia, do you want to speak on your behalves?
I'd be happy to do it again. I enjoyed the process last time, and I think going through it a second time, I think I'd be able to contribute more. So.
Anything, Brian?
I've negotiated a lot of contracts, sat in a lot of negotiations, understand the process very well.
I have to say, to have two people offered.
It's Christmas in July.
It's quite
That's right, there you go.
Quite honorable.
Christmas in July, that's funny.
Is
Two
there-
qualified people.
Two qualified.
Yeah.
Is there anything that limits us to one?
I think it says that you have to have one.
Are you sure? Because I actually looked at the charter before I came
And
here.
it could be more than one.
It does, well, it seems that just in appointing ex officios,
Yeah.
it's kind of a free-for-all. I mean, you could appoint till the cows come home.
I have to say,
That's
I'm
just
not
as
an
far as I
expert
know.
on that. I know.
Neither am I just looked it up.
I know that, you know, it's good for the board to have representation, so I know in the past if whoever was asked needed a backup, if they couldn't make a meeting, that was good. It's difficult because you haven't been there for the whole thing, but it's still a voice and it's still someone involved in the process, but I wouldn't be able to tell you whether it's limited or not.
How do we find that out?
Yeah.
That's an interesting proposition.
It's a charter, and I just,
Which charter?
the town charter,
Which section were you looking at, Cynthia? I'm sorry?
I have to go to it. I wasn't doing it here, I was doing it in the comfort of my home.
Yeah, I just see a benefit to, if it's possible, to having
That
two
would be
people.
great.
You know, you can kind of work together, back up each other if somebody can't make the, both of you guys are very busy, so.
I'm gonna see if I can get our attorney, because she would be the one that would.
Okay.
Oh, she's on the phone.
Perhaps you can text her.
This is the same thing, this is printed twice on here.
That's good. I mean, based on the cover letter that Dr. Carver sent, it's a Connecticut general statute,
That's what I was gonna
ten
say.
dash 153D, so I don't think it is in our town charter.
Sounds like it's a representative, but pretty specific.
It doesn't say specifically.
It says right here,
What?
if you're able to select a representative. A
A.
representative. And then it says for the name of the individual.
Oh, that's the statutes. All right, I thought there was
That's what I'm
something
trying to say.
specific
Sounds
in the
like it's
charter.
one person specific in the statute.
And I'm sorry, Brian, you're reading Dr. Carver's cover letter?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it says
right
under
here.
section
Yep.
10,
Yeah.
they have a representative. So, I mean, they're pretty much speaking in the solo in this,
The letter certainly is that. I'd be curious as to whether or not it's a,
It may even be
A
in
summary
the
or a statute.
bargaining agreement, too, how many people can negotiate, no? That's, with ours it does.
No, we usually do that at the, initial meeting.
You set up who's allowed to
Yeah.
set the table.
You set the ground rules. You, name everyone that will be on each team. And usually you also say that you could bring in consultants as needed. In other words, yeah, a health consultant or a
Right.
Sure.
benefits
Yep.
consultant.
Are you trying to text her, Terry? Is
I
that what
did
you're-
text her, I
Okay.
can see if I can get
Why don't we just give her a minute or two, and then we'll
Yeah.
see how best to
Yeah.
go forward.
Oh, Al Robinson. Okay. He's the BEA guy, okay.
Doing a lot of typing there, Terry.
I'm trying to ask Carver if she knows.
Oh, okay. Well, here's kind of what my suggestion would be, and we'll wait to see if we get the answer. My suggestion would be that we proceed, assuming it's one, and we'll do our vote. If, however, it's possible to have two, if Brian and Claudia are amenable to it, you guys will tag team.
It's fine with me.
Sure.
And we can get the answer from Rebecca if I don't get it.
Okay,
It might be in another negotiation, so I don't know.
I got it. All right, so we need,
Terry, wouldn't make a very good teenager as fast as you.
Oh, I'm very slow.
so if I understand kind of where we are right now, we have a motion, two separate motions, right?
Nominations, yeah.
Nominations. So the first motion is to nominate Brian as the Board of Finance's ex officio member to the negotiation team. All those in favor?
I,
Okay, nay?
Nay.
Nay. Second motion, to nominate Claudia as the Board of Finance member, ex officio member to the negotiation team. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay?
nay.
Okay. So that's our vote. Claudia will be the ex officio member, if it is the case that we can have just one member. However, if it's possible to have two, it'll be Brian and Claudia. Give it another minute perhaps before we adjourn. Provided, Terry, you're not
Hmm?
getting
If
any
it
answer.
hasn't, if this issue has never come up before, it's possible that somebody might not know the answer. This is kind of vague to me, where it says if they've already elected a representative. So it, a call to to my statutes guy. I have my own statutes guy up in Hartford.
I'll just withdraw it. You can take care of it, Claudia.
Oh, okay.
All right? So that'll solve it. We don't need an answer.
You sure?
Yep, I'll be good.
'Cause I was fine either way.
Nope, I'm
Okay.
good. Thank you.
I'd like to know the answer,
Okay,
if you wouldn't
all
mind.
right,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
all right.
I'm only hearing from Dr. Carver, and she doesn't know the answer.
DK?
but,
Don't know.
yeah.
Okay. All right, with the business concluded, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn?
Second?
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we're adjourned.
Dr. Carver has no issue with pyramid being two. She said, check with Rebecca.
It just makes tremendous sense, given all the time commitment and how busy folks are.
Right.
Great. All right.
Thank you.
So Jolene, are you gonna stop the filming? All good?